Go from there.
Okay.
Oh, if you want to let everyone know we're starting, tweet out. Tweet sent. Chat room, let us know when you can hear us.
All right, guys, we're getting ready to start. I see that we're live now. Please let us know when we're ready to hear us. And we do apologize for the delay. There was a baby need to be handed off, and I'm not talking in the Skywalker method. All right, looks like Sybil hears us.
All right.
All right, so let's go ahead and get us started. Show starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. On this episode of the AIE Podcast.
Rocketing into something new.
Are you ready for the summer of love?
And the dark versus the light.
We have RRF Captain Sybil's STO update.
And Mewcow to talk about Final Fantasy XIV, or Final Fantasy XIV if you want to be pedantic about it.
Pedantic, oh, that's a good word. All right, all that and more coming up now.
Bringing you the latest news from the AIE gaming community
from planet Earth and beyond.
This is the AIE Podcast.
Welcome to episode 256, the podcast celebrating you, the Lea Acta Est gaming community. The Die Has Been Podcast. This is Makala, and to my right is Tetsumi.
Spreadsheets? Lots of spreadsheets.
Yes, very true. Can we see if we can do maybe a spreadsheet to figure out when a summer vacation is happening? Awesome. All right. And this week we're joined by our very special guest, Mewcow, who is here to talk to us about AIE and Final Fantasy XIV. Welcome, Mew.
Oh, do we have a Mew?
He's been muted?
Yeah, greetings,
there we
gamers.
go.
The Yeti was fighting with me.
Dang Yeti. Next time, go with a Wookiee. They're much easier to deal with as long as you let them win. All right. So, Aaron, how's your week been in gaming? Mew, what have you been up to?
I've been playing this little game called Final Fantasy XIV, and pretty much just digging real deep in. The patch 3.3 has been out for a while, and that's been my focus for the most part. But there's also this little raiding guild over in WoW, or raiding team, I should say, that I've been doing a little bit with. You might have heard of them.
Yay, FERT.
FERT.
I've heard of them. I don't think I've spent enough time with them lately, as my raid leader likes to remind me.
Oh. But yeah, that's pretty much been it. That and a little bit. I also do a bit of raiding over with the CTR crew. Yeah, and of course, as everyone else is, lots and lots of Overwatch. Because that's like eating up all the rest of the time I don't really have.
Awesome. So, what have you been doing, my love?
Robot.
I will let you know, and you are roboting. All right, while McCullough fixes that, I will get you up to date with what I have been doing. I think last time we mentioned that I had been working on oil wells in WoW. And I have now, let's see, 8 of 10 done. I have my mage and my monk left to do. And with the rumor that the expansion pack is coming July 19th, we'll see if I make it. I don't know if I'll make the last one. I'll definitely get the mage done this week. I don't know on the monk. It'll just depend on how things roll. No pun intended. I've also been playing a little bit of Star Wars, the Old Republic. The new chapter comes out this week, so I'm looking forward to that. What else? Oh, and I've been on the beta and the PTR testing out some of the new stuff. We'll get into a little bit of that in the news. The camera adjustments and some other things that they're doing with the UI changes kind of are making things a little bit different for Raiders. So we'll see how that gets into along with the class changes and stuff. But that's what's been eating up most of my time. McCullough, what have you been up to?
Well, I know you're about to mention the fact that I've not been gaming much lately. Hoping to find some time to fix that, right? Yes, no, you are, Ted. I know that look, right? Busy with work. I have also been very busy. If I mentioned, a friend of mine and I are writing a book. Well, we're up against our first self-imposed deadline, which is July 1st. Where we want to actually get two things: our general outline for our first book, the main part of the story, done, which is he's working on, and I'm working on a creation myth, which is now at like 8 pages and counting, plus the additional 4 pages of gods, which is what happens when you take something that was a campaign, you then decide, hey, let's make it into a book, and then you have to change everything for the Forgotten Realms into your own thing, which means making an entire pantheon, a creation myth, an explanation of why your evil god is evil. So that's been my fun and filling what little free time I have.
Awesome.
Hopefully getting back into some gaming soon. Just need to put a few hours away to do that.
Yeah. Need to get you back in WoW and get you reacquainted with your Warlock. You know,
Yes.
And I find it interesting, and I'll go into this discussion here because it's not really news, but I'm going to find it interesting how Warlocks are treated in this expansion, since it is a demonic invasion.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually haven't poked around. I've transferred my Warlock over, but she was only level 60, so I'm thinking of making a level 100 Warlock on the PTR, or on the beta, just to see what the class quests are going to be like for that, because you get some really cool artifact weapons.
I know, I'm looking forward to that, and the fact that Demo supposedly is viable again, because Demonology is totally my favorite spec, because that to me always feels like a Warlock, where the others really sometimes feel more like, mages with dark powers.
I think that's how the mages kind of refer to you. Anyway, no, but playing the...
Yes.
I did play a little bit with I hadn't got the artifact yet, but I did the demonic invasion with the Warlock, and it's basically you're just a demon cannon. You just fire at different kinds of demons, more demons, empower those demons, they fire off more demons, and then you do a bunch of AoE with demons. It's really fun.
That sounds amazing. All right, yeah, I need to look into that. That sounds like a blast. See, demons, that will get me back into playing regularly.
There we go.
All right. Well, we're going to be digging into Final Fantasy XIV shortly. But first, this week's news.
AIE News.
All right, and with the switch to the new website for the podcast, we realized that the IRC channel isn't as easily accessible as it was. So we're going to be moving to something easier to access that most, if not all, of our listeners already should have access to, and that is Rocket Chat. The link to the website is in my my lower third right here. It's also going to be on the show notes. It's AIE.community. If you type it in a browser, you can also download the app on iOS or Android. But it uses your Umami username and password. And we're going to be testing this in between this podcast and the next one, so you will see us online in between the podcasts. So please feel free to get logged in and let us know of any issues that you're seeing. I know we have a couple of folks that are in the chat room already that have issues with their umami name being different than what they want for the display name, and they've updated their profile. So we're going to be looking into that with our robot Stig and see what we can do to get that fixed so that your display name is what you want it to be. Let us know what you think, and feel free to join us in the podcast channel in AIE-community and Hangout.
All right. And back in December 2014, Shimmerage, the mistress of RP in AIE, started a post in the community section of the forums asking a absolutely beautiful question. Are you okay? This thread is still going today, and a lot of our fellow guildies have been checking in from time to time to let AIE know what is going on and how they are doing. Please feel free to read updates, give hugs, accolades, and cheer each other on in this thread, in-game, on Twitter, or everywhere else that AIE is represented.
Right, and in WoW, big news in AIE is that the Summer of Love, yes, the Summer of Love, you remember that from last year and many years previous, it's just a month away. Where has the year gone? The festivities start Monday, August 1st and go through Sunday, August 7th. So this is hopefully going to be once the 7.0 pre-patch has launched and everyone has had time to adjust to their new abilities and things in-game. Right now, we have the community-wide Remembrance Day, and that is Tuesday, August 2nd. We have Coop tentatively scheduled for Friday the 5th, which will be fun to try out the PvP stuff with the new PvP talents, and the Old School Raid Night, Saturday, August 6th. Also, Thugs AIE versus the Garrison Boss event will happen sometime during that week as well. Please keep an eye on the forums for that. We're looking into doing a luau and a costume contest, especially because guess what, folks? If the pre-patch is hit and it's during the Summer of Love, you will have your transmog closet. That means your bank should be cleared out. You should have been looking for those missing pieces and have your costumes ready to go. There's also been a request for war games. If you have interest in hosting an event during the Summer of Love, or for that matter, anytime in AIE WoW, please message Cyrene either in-game or on the forums. A left shark is required. And she's also on Twitter at CyreneAIE. She will be joining us on July 17th, which hopefully will be a couple days before the patch hits, rumors, if the rumors are correct, to talk all things Summer of Love. And speaking of the Legion pre-patch, are you interested to see what it's going to look like but don't have beta access? Hop on over to the PTR, which has the Legion pre-event invasions and all the race, class, and mechanical changes, including the now kind of under discussion reduced camera zoom-out distance that's causing quite a bit of stir on the official forums. For those that don't know, there is always been a way to bypass, through the use of a console command, the limit on how far out you can zoom your camera. And a lot of the raiders and people that PvP use that quite frequently to be able to see what's coming behind them or what's coming from the side. And Blizzard has reduced that zoom out distance fairly significantly. It's still quite a ways out, but if you're used to how far out the old one was, especially if you're a tank or melee or a healer, the new distance can seem quite claustrophobic. Not that people always played at maximum distance, but it's nice to have it to zoom out and see what's going on. So if you want to comment, take a look at the official forums and send them a comment and let them know what you think.
So pretty much, unless you're a DPS, there's an issue. Got it. Good thing I'm a DPS.
Ranged DPS.
Right, exactly. Ranged DPS.
Yeah, you just said DPS.
I know I did. I apologize. All right. Right. So in SOTOR news, are you new to Star Wars The Old Republic or having completed the character stories on all 8 classes? Feel like doing a story class over again but choosing the opposite side? Ooh, that does sound fun. Well, does SOTOR have an event for you? The Dark versus the Light event. Create a new level 1 character on or after June 28th and start playing. The event rewards and objectives are built into 6 levels. As you complete each level's objective, you will earn amazing rewards, including titles, mounts, armor sets, and Force-bound Light versus Dark packages. One special award will help in progressing your journey through the event. The victorious Pioneer's armor set will provide an amazing 50% XP boost when you're wearing the complete set. You will earn the set in 3 parts, from Legacy level through Champion level. Check later in the blog for all details on how to unlock the victorious Pioneer's armor set. That is going to be at sotor.com. Info news. The notes are in the show notes. Sounds like an amazing time, but what about all those veterans who have already completed their storylines and don't feel like taking another character, level 1 on up? You mean like Tetsumi? You have Chapter 15, The Gemini Deception, coming out on June 30th to look forward to. In this new chapter, prepare to lead your alliance in the ultimate assault to land a fatal blow against the Eternal Empire. Alongside the mysterious and deadly droid Scorpio, the Outlander team must infiltrate. My Star Wars is bad here, dear. What does that say?
Which, the Zakulan Warship or Archon's Formidable Force?
I was going to go with Zakulan Warship, thank you. The Outlander team must infiltrate a Zakulan Warship to face Archon's formidable force of elite soldiers. When the mission goes awry, the Outlanders must find their way out of a deadly trap, only to be faced by the ultimate betrayal. Well, that just sounds just like Star Wars.
It does. And one thing we didn't include in the show notes that I meant to, and I apologize since Max just popped in the chat room, is make sure you look at the Escape podcast. And Max and Seema have been doing an awesome job of covering both the latest press release, not press release, but the producer's letter that they did. They also just did a recent episode on how do you play SOTOR with your kids? What do you let them do? What are they interested in, and what are they teaching you about SOTOR when you play it? So please make sure you take a look on your favorite podcast app of choice and look for the Escape Podcast. 3 words.
All right, and Max just corrected. They've actually now moved from Monday to Tuesday after the mandatory fun night.
Yep, exactly.
And they're going to cover the Dark versus Light event in detail this week, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I will be very interested to hear, as both AIE, Seema, and Max are veterans, to see what they're interested in getting out of this event and how they think it's going to play with new players or players that have been playing for a little while versus the veteran stuff that, you know, they have Knights of the Fallen Empire, but they're always, like most gamers, are always looking for new content and kind of feel that this event isn't quite tuned for them. So we'll see how that goes. I've got it on my podcatcher. I may even sneak on, depending on what we're doing Tuesday night, and listen in the live chat room.
You're taking our daughter to Kung Fu, but that's about it.
I can listen on the phone. We're good.
True.
All right. And in another game set in space, in Star Trek Online, we have Captain Sybil's update for the week ending June 26, 2016. We have some surreal news to start out. A new Kelvin timeline was announced this week. Apparently, the USS Kelvin accidentally encountered an anomaly left over from the immensely powerful Hobus supernova that destroyed the Romulan homeworld. The anomaly turns out to be a gateway between the Star Trek Prime universe and the so-called Star Trek JJ-verse alternate timeline. So what does that mean? Glad you asked. Players will soon be able to move between the classic Star Trek TV movie universe to the J.J. Abrams-inspired Star Trek Into Darkness timeline. This J.J. Verse timeline will be the basis of the upcoming CBS online-only series coming in 2017, which I'm going to take a moment to say I am really looking forward to. Hopefully, this will settle the controversy currently plaguing the Trek fans as to which universe is the most relevant. Players will be able to play in both universes without feeling schizophrenic. Who knew? I'll go and you D-Robot. All right. In other Star Trek Online news, the upcoming Agents of Yesterday story arc will be introducing several new retro starships, new beta missions, and a new captain specialization, Temporal Operative. Dude, I just want that title. Temporal Operative sounds awesome.
It sure does. It's like a time agent. All right, and the STO summer event on Ryza is still in full swing through July 21st. There's still time to do the daily event to win prize vouchers for vanity pets. Vintage beachwear, which is so my thing, updated mini power bots, jetpacks, and much, much more. Also available is the opportunity to save up excess prize vouchers for the annual summer event Starship, a Vorgon, not a Vogon, Xephus Heavy Escort. That sounds appropriate for Ryza. For a complete listing of prizes and starship stats, please visit the Star Trek Online website. For status of AIE's Classes Fleet Starbase, all fleet mates are encouraged to check out the Fleet Holding tab in the fleet's in-game menu. Contributions and materials and personnel are always welcome to assist building the fleet's starbase and other fleet holdings to their fullest potential. Players are encouraged to check out the news, patch release information, details on the upcoming console versions, UI improvements, forums, commentaries, and more at StarTrekOnline.com. And don't forget, we're looking for a good home for the new starship, the Gegbot. Is that right? Gebot?
No, we're looking home for a new...
Dregbot.
No.
Yes.
We're looking for a home for a new starship. Stop. Gregbot has a code.
Yes. Sorry about that. For a free NX... Wow, words are hard. NX Light Class Escort ship. This looks just like the ship in the Enterprise TV series. It unlocks the ability to use the NX prefix on all ship serial numbers to denote the experimental prototype. It even comes with a grappler console, which allows you to shoot grappling hook onto the enemy ship. Oh, that sounds like a blast. You can also be a lieutenant and fly this ship. For those who do not know, that is the rank you are when you get your first ship. It makes a wonderful starter ship. If you're interested, either send an email to podcast@AIE-Guild or hit us up on Twitter at the AIE Podcast.
All right, and in Lord of the Rings news, we don't have an update yet, but we should have Dux on during July to let us know what is going on with the citizens of Middle-earth. There is a rumor that they are getting the band back together, both literally and figuratively.
All right, and with all that, Mew, what's going on with Final Fantasy XIV?
All the things.
Awesome.
Alrighty.
I will say, when you put your show notes in, poor Chet heard me say, what the heck just happened? So we have some great news, and Mew to tell us all about it.
Yep, I had quite the info dump. There's a lot been happening since the last time Final Fantasy XIV's been on. The biggest thing, of course, being patch 3.3, Revenge of the Horde. Sounds kind of familiar.
It does, totally.
I have some good news in that figured out this Google Hangout thing. So we can actually see some fun stuff. Although I don't know if it'll share the audio, you'll have to let me know.
Okay.
But if it does, this is pretty fun.
No audio yet. Nope. So we're getting your audio mute, but not the video. But at least we can talk over we can watch the video and talk over it.
Oh, why don't we cheat?
Of course.
That way, at least everyone can hear what's going on.
Like towards the speakers. There you go. Alright, there we go. Now we can hear.
So this is just a little beginning here about the story, because the story, of course, continued.
Your brother Worm now prepares to murder those whom I sought to spare. What is more, he has taken my comrade's body for his own. But if I must slay my dearest friend to defeat my direst foe, I will not flinch from my duty.
Remember your training. We hold fast until the Lord Commander returns.
Nidhogg. So that was the bit about the story.
Gorgeous.
And now we are going into some of the new dungeons, I think.
Okay.
It'll tell us in the bottom here. I love the patch trailers for Final Fantasy XIV. They do a really good job of introducing everything. This is the new raid. It's very intense looking.
Yes.
And look at this weird, crazy place.
Beautiful. Wow. So, guys, definitely you'll want to watch the YouTube link for the feed to see all of this. It is absolutely beautiful.
The audio is also very good. It's a lot better than what's coming out of my little headset here.
Oh, did you turn on your speaker ears?
Yeah, that's how you're hearing it.
Cool.
There are ways to cheat the system. And these are the Moogles, and back in 2.0, one of the Beastmen tribes was able to work with you to actually help you with your crafting and actually help speed it up. In 3.0, the Moogles decided to jump in and help you from 50 to 60.
Ah, okay.
And
So
of course, I'm totally digging the goggles there on the Moogle.
Yep.
Steampunk.
There they are gathering. It's kind of funny. They're tenacious little things. And this is a dungeon, I believe?
It looks like somebody went to the zoo and let stuff out.
Yeah. Ulbrich Island.
Eludra. Now we know. Now we know what Eludra's doing.
Yes.
Yes.
It's and a fun thing they do with the dungeons in Final Fantasy is they have, instead of doing like heroic or mythic, they do hard and extreme. But it's not just a harder version of the same dungeon. It's like a continuation of the dungeon. So you're actually seeing whole new areas. Like you can see the old areas from the regular version, but like it's a whole new area. It's like a different, it continues the story. It's actually really cool.
Very cool. Yeah, this is awesome.
And this is the new dungeon, treasure goblin dungeon, basically.
Yeah, Aquapolis.
Yeah, I've been kind of calling this patch like the Diablo patch. It seems like they're adding Diablo features to it, but like this is basically getting into one of the treasure goblin portals or whatever.
Vaults.
Yeah.
One of the vaults. Yeah.
So that's what this is. Just lots and lots of.
And I was gonna say, just as an aside, speaking out, apparently there's a very similar thing coming in Legion that Row uncovered, that they're bringing back the single player treasure room type thing again.
Oh, awesome!
And that is Hildebrand.
That's adorable.
Yeah, that is a fan favorite quest line. It's like a side quest. It's really silly and funny, and it's been going since 2.0. He actually started as an introduction to the inn, like where you actually can rest and whatnot. and people loved him so much that it just became this whole story that is its own little side thing, and it's
nice.
amazing. Like, if you haven't done this quest line, you really need to, because it is just hilarious. But
Oh, that's great. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah. And of course, here's some additions for the guild house. And
Great.
so you can now.
I love.
Go
Has
ahead.
Jasmine been taking care of the house, or who's been taking care of the house?
Sashi.
Sashi, that's right.
Yeah, the both of them do a pretty good job keeping an eye on the house, and I'll show it off here in a bit. These crazy new hairstyles are, I guess.
I was gonna say, he looks like,
Crazy.
yeah, he looks like Vanilla Ice or something.
You know, they gave you gear to look like the Beastman tribes that you're working with, which is kind of funny. Sleeping gear. I've been seeing those pigmen running around. It's kind of crazy.
It is nuts.
Oh, this is the PvP.
Very cool.
Yeah, there's a whole new section of PvP called the Feast, and this is one of the new battlegrounds. It's kind of crazy when you can use a limit break in PvP.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, this might be the Dungeon of the Dead. This here...
So we have the feasts and the Dungeon of the Dead. Got it. All right, then.
Yeah, here it is, Palace of the Dead. This we're going to talk a bit more about. This is
Okay.
randomly generated, essentially endless dungeon. It'll only have 50 levels to start, but they'll keep adding to it, and it's randomly generated. You can do it solo, and you can do it as a group, and it's pretty interesting. We'll have to discuss it a bit further. The music alone is pretty neat.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I know.
And I'm kind of curious who this creepy person is. Just kind of floating there. Little teasers. Another dungeon, brand new. Giant.
How do you
lizards.
pronounce that?
Or Kai?
And the dragons are pretty cool looking in this game.
Yep.
Very unique. They're kind of like a cross between the worm and the traditional dragon.
Yeah.
And that is Nidhogg, I believe. He's the current big bad. He's very, very angry.
He looks like it.
He
He's a
looks
dragon.
really upset.
Yeah.
Dragons aren't really known to be friendly and fluffy and all that good stuff.
No. He basically wants to wipe all the non-dragons out because they've wronged him.
Sure.
Speciesist.
Yeah, I think that's probably the final dungeon. Yeah, the story's pretty crazy. That there is a dragoon that got corrupted. And that's
Revenge of the Horde. Not Blizzard's World of Warcraft Horde,
Nope.
but the Horde that's in Final Fantasy XIV.
Interestingly enough, Blizzard and Final Fantasy had a funny Twitter exchange because of that.
Yeah.
I can imagine. Alright, so what fun stuff can we expect with this new patch, Mew?
Alright, let's switch back over to that. Where are you? There you are. Turn off screen share so you can see my lovely face again.
There we go. Yay!
Alright. So, Revenge of the Horde, as I've kind of affectionately called the Diablo patch because very, very many Diablo features, amusingly enough. But of course, it is continuing the main story quest, which we saw there, the saga with the Azure Dragoon and Nidhogg, the big bad. But it's been very interesting so far. I mean, I've been digging into it deep and really enjoying it. It's nice to have for all those other games that are kind of having a content lull right now to just dig into this and fully, embraced in it. But they've added some new raids, and one of the big things is they now have essentially a raid finder feature, much like the WoW one. Amusingly enough, the big difference is that when you go into the raid finder in this one, people are very friendly and helpful, and they're cheering you on if you're new. It's kind of a strange change from a more familiar LFR we have, but yep. But let's see here. Oh yeah, as you saw on the video, if you were watching the video, the Weeping City of Mach, something of that effect. It's a continuation. I don't know if we mentioned in the last Final Fantasy podcast that there were Sky Pirates have joined the fun, and so this is sort of a continuation of the Sky Pirate raid quest line. Yeah, it's, as you saw, very interesting looking. The visuals are pretty impressive. You definitely want to have a good PC rig or PS4 rig, because I've actually been playing on the PS4 downstairs, and it still looks gorgeous.
And you can play PC and PS4 on the same server, same guild, and all that, right?
Oh yeah. My same characters and everything. I can go downstairs on the big screen and fire up my PS4 and do the same exact everything. There's no difference.
Which is awesome.
Great. I did actually have a question that was sent in via text about that. Say a player only does play on console. Is there any difference within trying to join the AIE guild piece of it, or is it the same through Umami?
Yeah, it'll be the same way. There's really
okay, good.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter which one you play on. You'll be able to join either way.
Great.
Yeah,
So we have a community member that wants to play, but only does not have a gaming PC, so only does stuff on console.
Yeah, if they have a PS4, they are in for a treat, because I actually spent like almost all day yesterday just playing on solely the PS4 just to verify, because I've done it before, but just to kind of verify that it's fully, you can do everything you need to on there, and I was able to battle. I mean, the controller setup is awesome for it, and the controller setup for the consoles was the same exact setup they put on the PC if you switch it to controller mode.
Right.
So,
Great.
So I have a controller in here somewhere that whenever if I want, oh yeah, here it is here. So if I want to do gathering and crafting, it actually is easier to gather and craft with the controller than it is with the PC, the keyboard. So I'll switch over.
Gotcha.
So yeah, definitely no difference. They're welcome to join, and we'll be there to welcome them.
Awesome. How do you do chat on the console, or is there a built-in voice that works better?
No. If you have a PS4, it's different for the PS3, and I'm not sure what the Xbox One does. But the PS4 actually has a touch screen about that big, and it works. It works as a trackpad. So it has mouse ability. So I was able to go to the virtual keyboard and just essentially tap everything and type that way. So it's slower, obviously, than using a keyboard, but it works, pretty well. And the other fun thing, at least on the PS4, you can plug in a USB keyboard and it works just fine.
Okay,
great.
Cool.
Okay.
In fact,
good to know. Thank you very much.
One of our members last night, I think it was Dark Mistress, said that that they plugged in a keyboard and mouse and have played it on the PS4 just fine, as if it was on the PC. So.
Great.
So yeah.
Very cool. Thank you for that great information.
Sure. Further on the list, I mentioned briefly the Moogle Beast Tribe. Essentially, the Ixal are the birds, the Beast Tribe that helped you with your crafting from level 1 to 50. The Moogles are helping you from 50 to 60, and they have their own quest line and all that kind of fun stuff. To quickly talk about the Beast Tribes, essentially it's a little like you're fighting a lot of these beasts in the game, but some of them are actually kind of friendly. So they'll actually say, hey, would you like to work with us rather than killing us? Let's join up and have some fun. So the Ixal did the crafting. Now we had the Moogles. It basically speeds along your leveling process. So you're not just sitting there grinding away and building stuff. You're actually doing like quests, like if it was a battle the class. So it's actually sort of a neat way of doing things. So it's crafting in this game is just so much more fun than anywhere else I've done it. It's enjoyable. Like they treat crafting like its own class. It has its own gear and weapon.
That's great. Mm-hmm.
Everything, yeah. So yeah, there's that. There are new dungeons, Hullbreaker Island, as we saw, Sorkai, the Aquapolis, wherever you want to say it, the treasure hunting dungeon, all the fun stuff. And then everyone's favorite Hildebrand is back with some crazy quests. I did complete it myself. Lots of fun. I mean, every time they do it, it's always been pretty amazing. Hildebrand is allowed to do the outrageous stuff because it's a silly side.
Right.
So like they're defying physics. They're doing lots of They don't quite do fourth wall like a Deadpool, but it's definitely very that kind of cheeky humor. But
it's like the Johnny Awesome. Is it like kind of the Johnny Awesome quest line in WoW, where it's just, hey, let us make fun of ourselves?
Yes, very much so. They definitely make fun of themselves quite a bit with that.
Great.
There are new PvP battlegrounds. I don't really do any PvP myself. I probably should try it at some point, but it's very similar to your typical MMO PvP. It has its own progression system. It has gear specifically for it. They have a kind of like how what WoW is moving to, where there's a whole new ability system for PvP and Legion.
Mm-hmm.
They've had that. That's what they've been using. So they have this whole progression line to actually go through and earn all the stuff you have, so that they're not having to worry about balancing the PvP with the PvE. It's totally separate.
Great.
Then after that, housing. One of the things that people have been wanting for a while is we have gardening in the game. But in fact, here let me switch over screen share and show you our lovely garden in game.
Oh, pretty. Right. That's gorgeous.
So,
and that is one of the lores of Final Fantasy. It is such a beautiful game.
Oh yeah, everything about it. I mean, here's our cherry blossom tree. I mean,
wow.
It's amazing. But we have these garden plots out here, but they're communal garden plots. So the thing is AIE is an exception in that we treat our stuff pretty well. But a lot of people don't trust their guild to be able to plant stuff out here and not mess with it, and and that sort of thing. So what they've done is allowed for flower pots, so that you can, in your own private room or the inn or whatever, or anywhere that you can put stuff down, you can get a flower pot and plant whatever you want. There's a plethora of seeds in this game. You can pretty much, I want to say, grow almost anything growable in these gardens. But it also lets you get things that can color your chocobo or other kind of fun stuff like that. But they've given you the ability to do it on your own now, so you don't have to worry about people messing with your stuff. It's something people have been asking for. But I thought it was interesting enough to point out. So I did mention, of course, Nidhogg's final trials, the big angry dragon. I want to say that's the end game, but the kind of neat thing about the way they've been doing Final Fantasy XIV is they kind of just every couple of months they have a new content patch to kind of keep us going for a while. So it seems like it's the end of this story, but there could be more to it.
Right.
And here, let me look at something more interesting here. Quality of life. So one of the big things they did in 3 is lots and lots of quality of life changing. So here, let me put the interface back on. So they've added a lot better questing icons. So let me see if I can get a good one here. So just little things like these little red arrows. I mean, before, sometimes it was really hard to tell when there was an exit, on a map, strangely enough. So they've added stuff like that. Arrow markers. The quest icons are a lot better designed, so you can see what kind of a quest it is. Here's a story quest, for example. Here is a crafting quest. You can see that there. That's the Weaver.
Ooh.
You can. It just little tweaks here and there just to kind of give you an idea. That's a repeatable quest, or it's just
right.
It's nice how they can kind of tell you at a glance how things are going. What was it here? Oh yeah, the HUD on this. So this is all custom, but it's not done with mods. I actually have a HUD layout here. So they've added the ability to now have save your layouts, so you can actually quickly change. It's like, say you want to have things look differently during PvP, well, you can have everything laid out there. Say you want to have a special crafting interface, well, there you go. So they've added that in with this patch as well, so it's definitely made things a lot nicer. And
there's a question from Braze in the chat room. What's the 12x4 icon grid at the bottom?
Oh, these are all my abilities.
No, I think he's the one on the right. I think that one, yeah.
That's just telling you the stuff that's in my bag. And
Cool.
this
So
is my characters.
more of a bag icon. Got it.
Yeah, so, and that's another thing that they improved on too, is the bags. Before, the bags were in these individual squares. Each one was a little square, and you had to like drag things around. And so they've added the ability to see everything at once. So I love that feature myself because
Perfect.
it just makes it easier. The quest items are kept in their own section that doesn't fill up your regular bag. Fun little improvements like that.
I was going to say, your bags look like my WoW characters' bags. Good lord.
Well, yeah, I've been crafting like mad. This is all crafting mats for the most part. I've been grinding my crafting classes, so I should probably show off. So one of the things that... Did I even put it in here? So there's this new... they're doing this summer promotion called Summer DLC. It's with Amazon.com. If you buy anything in the Amazon gaming section, you'll actually get a free DLC code for a bunch of fun stuff, like mounts, gear. Let me see if I can bring up my mounts. So, mounts guide up, and there's one of our other guild members there.
Hello.
So
I like your character. She looks like a little Miss Method, especially now.
Yeah.
So here's one of the free mounts you can get. This is similar to the fat chocobo. It's just white.
Yeah.
So yeah, they call this original fat chocobo. I don't know. I guess that's how they wanted it before. But this is the actual regular one here. But what's always amused me about these fat chocobos is this is how they get to one. So you just put the diesel green so we can try to reach it and chase after it.
Right, yeah.
And you can't see it here. To make him fly, she takes out another a fishing rod with a cake on it, and he starts flying for it.
Nice.
Oh, that's great.
It almost looks like animated Peeps.
Yeah. But yeah, this is actually one of the outfits that they give you in the DLC. So that's why I want to show that off. There's a male outfit and a female outfit. I have both characters so I can see everything. But honestly,
And for
the girls get the best outfits. Just hands down.
I was gonna say for those that are listening and not watching, it very much is like a pink Lolita type of outfit. Very sweet, very cute, very ruffly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the dyeing system in this game is amazing. So I can actually switch over. So this is actually like a purple. So the way I can tell.
Oh, cute.
That it's the crafting. This is what a crafter looks like in the game.
Okay.
So with the they have their own gear, own weapons, and everything. So it's pretty amazing.
Very neat. That's in general, it's a great quality of life change for any game.
You need a pair of goggles or a pair of glasses like that for crafting in real life. For your steampunk.
Have them.
It'll give you a boost to your
around
crafting.
steampunk glasses. Right? That'd be great.
Yeah. So this is a samurai outfit. It's real easy to switch between stuff. Caster. This is our version of the rifle hunter.
Cool.
The detail is pretty amazing, but I digress. Back over to our list. So
Yes.
what they've done is added a lot of fun stuff for high end. They have something similar to in WoW. You have enchanting. They call it materia, so you can actually enchant your gear essentially. So what we'll do is we'll actually go to one of those areas so you guys can see. But what they put in the game is NPCs that can now craft materia onto your gear. Before, you had to do it yourself. Like, you had to actually be a crafter and level up high enough to actually work with the level of gear you're working with. So if your weaver wasn't level 50 and you're using level 50 gear to put materia on, you couldn't put it on there. So what they've done is put in these NPCs so it doesn't matter what level you are. This is one of the more busy questing hubs. As you can see, this place is packed. And I don't know if you can hear it, but you can hear the crowd noise. One of the neat things that Final Fantasy XIV does is when there's a ton of people, it actually puts this like crowd noise to kind of give you an idea of how busy it is. So these are all people milling about. I mean, it's just like it's not even rezzing everyone in because there's just packed. So this is why they've been posting the crazy numbers for subscribers. Is that it is definitely very busy right now. But where did that NPC go? But essentially, it's a very easy interface. You pick your gear, you pick what you want to enchant it with, and you're done. And it's real cheap. It's 300 gil, which is like 300 copper in WoW for those that want the easy translation.
Right.
Yeah, here he is here. So real easy. You just there, done. It's simple. And they've also added a gear catch-up dude. He's over here. But for those that are worried, oh, it's so hard to grind my gear and catch up with everyone and do all the new content. Well, here's this guy to take care of that, and he's selling this gear that'll catch you up to all the new stuff.
So cool.
Yeah, they definitely want everyone to experience the content. They want you to grind for stuff if you need to grind for it, but they don't want you to feel like they've been left out. So I've always
that makes great sense.
They have some mount stuff. There's some barding in here. I'll show you what barding looks like. So the company chocobos we have can actually be dressed. You can put special.
Oh, wow.
So this is the barding I got for the main story quest. This is the Isgardian barding. So you can dress all of them up. But if you go further in the current main story quest, you can actually get dragon barding and make it look like a dragon. I actually have some of that, but I'll go ahead and continue because I don't want to take too much time up. But they've got some fun stuff. They got this purple bird that everyone's going crazy about. One of the trials that you could do is dropping this bird mount. So they're grinding that like mad. I don't see it around here. I was hoping that there might be some, but you can see here's one of the dragon mounts that drops from one of the raids.
Right.
Yeah, it's
very cool.
Usually you can see people showing off. Up there's one of the crazy unicorn things that drops from another raid.
Oh, neat.
Yeah,
That looks almost like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, gorgeous and flaming.
yeah. The
Or
mount.
a phoenix corn.
Yeah. Yeah, this one here. This is actually a Midgard Sommer that it actually accompanies you on the main story quest, and he actually becomes a mount for you, which is pretty cool.
Cool.
One of the other neat things that has popped up is this little button here, recommended gear. So there's a lot of gear in this game. I can show you. We actually have a bag dedicated just to gear, and there's a lot of stuff in there because unlike most games, your one character could be everything, could be every single class, and all you have to do is choose your gear. So I can, I can switch between, Bard, Ninja, Dragoon. I mean, it's at a press of a button, I'm a different class, just by changing my gear.
Right.
Wow.
And that includes all the crafters. I mean, it's really that simple. So as a result, they've put in this fun little gear or recommended gear button. So you can tell it, I probably already have the best gear, so this is probably a bad example, but here I'll see if I can find a good one to show that off here. So I'm not in the best gear.
Oh.
Yeah, this is one of the neat outfits.
But it's the prettiest, so sometimes that is the best.
Yeah. So that's for looks. But say I want to run out and actually battle as my bard. Well, here it is. It'll just do all that for me. Poof, there it is. Your best gear.
That is
Oh,
very
that's awesome. So it's like
user-friendly.
Ask Mr. Robot built into the game.
Yes. It already figures all that out.
That's awesome.
And
Cool.
so yeah, and that's for the most part that's the big hits for 3.3. In a little bit, however, 3.35 will be coming out, and this is for Palace of the Dead. I kind of alluded to that in the video earlier. But this thing is actually pretty epic. This is designed to essentially be its own content piece by itself. It is essentially an endless dungeon. The neat thing about that is that you can go in as a group or you can go in as solo. And it actually has its own progression, like its own leveling. So even though you're going in as your maximum level, super geared, bard or warrior or whatever, you're starting over at 0. You're leveling up a whole new class in this dungeon. And it's very, very reminiscent of Diablo 3, to where you're essentially going down deeper into this dungeon. Each level is, randomly generated, and you're just...
So it's almost like the original Diablo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you'll just keep going. And I think it's every 10 levels, you can have a save point, and that's now the point you continue from. So if you die, then you go back to your save point. So, like I said, solo or with a group, you can start progressing. You'll get new gear. I mean, it has a whole new interface. Let's see if I have. I didn't have a link for that, but I'll give it to the show notes a little later so it can be shared. But essentially, it has its own gear system that's very reminiscent of like the original Final Fantasy, like 1, 2, 3 series, where it has the same icons and all that kind of stuff. It's very reminiscent of that, so it's really neat, and it's all randomly generated, and just it'll be endless content because it starts at 50 levels, but they're going to just keep adding to it. Like once they have some more fun stuff, they're going to add another 25, 50, whatever. Then they'll just keep going, and it's its own little progression area, completely different from everything else. So
very cool.
We're going to be busy with that for a while.
Definitely.
I did mention earlier, too, the summer DLC sale at Amazon. I highly recommend it if you are going to buy games. Go ahead and just buy something quick on there. You'll get a lot of really fun free stuff. I have a link to the actual gear that they're giving out in the show notes if you want to have a better look at it. But, this maid's outfit is one of the things, the chocobo mount. There was, I think, some prism wings. Here, I think I have them in my bag here somewhere. To show those off. Here they are. So there you go.
Oh, beautiful! So they're like gorgeous iridescent fairy wings. Those are stunning.
Yeah. So it's basically you get all that stuff free. Just DLC codes you put into your game, or you can give the DLC codes out if you want. But yeah, it's really easy to get. It's one per Amazon account. Go crazy. I highly recommend that for everybody. So.
Awesome.
Other than that, I wanted to remind everyone that we are, of course, recruiting. I
was going to say, let me pull a max here and see if I do this correctly. So, Mew, if one wanted to join AIE in Final Fantasy XIV, how would one go about that?
That's glad you asked. Oh, why is someone trading with me? Essentially, there's a number of ways, but the way I recommend, of course, is Recruit a Friend, everyone's favorite Recruit a Friend. The fun thing about Recruit a Friend in Final Fantasy XIV is that there's benefits for all parties involved. When you recruit, you're going to get mounts and gear and other fun stuff, but your recruitee is going to get some fun stuff too. They're actually going to get leveling gear. They're going to get gear to catch them up at higher levels. And a neat feature they put in is the ability to teleport to each other, so you can actually help your new friend out. It's pretty awesome. But I highly recommend if you want to try Final Fantasy XIV, get with one of us. We'll be happy to recruit you in. If you have friends that want to come with you, we'll recruit you. You recruit your friend. That way you can pal around and go crazy. I mean, it's so much fun to play this game with 2 or 3 people. The group just works better. But I highly recommend it. Get a hold of us. You can find us, on the forums, in Rocket Chat, in game. You don't even have to go. If you need help going through the Obami process, you can apply to us in game first, and then we'll help you go through Obami if you need that. We make it as easy as possible to get in here. All you have to do is come up and talk to us.
Perfect. Definitely, we want to make sure that people can get together in game, however, in any way possible.
Definitely.
I did have a follow-up question from something we discussed earlier with the talking through PSN. Do you know if it's compatible through the PSN app?
PSN app, PlayStation Network app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of that would still work, but that's on the PlayStation Network. When you log into, it's talking to the game itself. Like if you're
Okay, cool.
if you're in the PS4 version of the game, it looks exactly like this, and in fact, I'll even make it look like it. Here in 1 second. Character configuration. Click that little button there. Close. So this is what the controller version looks like. Same exact game,
Okay.
just different layout. So there you go.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Very cool.
Activity is up in AIE. I can tell that because as the guild is active, we get essentially guild points, and then I can use those guild points to buy what are called company actions, and essentially they're buffs for the guild. So I can buff the experience for the guild when you're questing. I can buff the experience when you're crafting. I can improve your crafting results. I can make teleporting around cheaper, because in this game we don't have flight points, we have teleport points. So
Okay, great.
for a little guild, you just teleport to wherever you need to go, and then you can run amok. And you can do that from
Got
anywhere.
it.
And you don't have to go to a teleport point to teleport. You can do it from anywhere. I can, from here, standing in nowhere, I can just teleport back to the guild hall, and there's no problem. So it's a very, very handy that way.
Cool.
But yeah, it's we're definitely getting a lot busier in the guild lately. It could be because things are quiet a lot in a lot of other places, so probably now's a good time to jump in and join everyone.
Definitely.
I'll be putting a forum post up pretty soon to discuss some plans. We want to start doing some themed weekends to where these guild buffs we have, we want to start catering them to what people want to do. So we can actually schedule, hey, this weekend's the crafting weekend. Do all your crafting grinding this weekend, you get the buffs. Hey, this weekend is the level grinding, or this is going to be main story, or maybe we're going to do a bunch of PvP, so we can actually get PvP buffs. It's stuff like that. It's we want to see if this is interesting to our community, and maybe get some more activity in there, because more is always better.
Yeah,
Definitely. And AIE definitely knows how to play together as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that is, for the most part, the breadth of my notes.
Cool. So we didn't just have you here to talk about Final Fantasy XIV. There might be something else that you're fairly well involved in. So tell us what's going on with Icarus.
Yes. So, a friend of mine is actually a community manager for Nexon, and they have a new game coming out called Riders of Icarus. So the reason why this is interesting to us is because they're trying to woo guilds, and hey, we happen to be a guild, so
We're wooable.
Yeah. But it's actually a pretty fun little game. It reminds me a lot of some of the more earlier WoWs, but one of its key features really is the fact that pretty much everyone has the ability to have hunter pets. So
nice.
Fun.
So every class, mages, the warriors, the rogues, can actually have their own. They can actually go out and tame mounts. They can choose to make that mount a pet. Or they can use. Interestingly enough, you can actually turn this critter into like a buff, which is.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. So like if this critter gives you an active buff by being your friend, you can then make him a buff, and then have a new critter. So you actually have double the buffs running around. So it's kind of interesting.
Gotcha.
But that's kind of their big thing is you can go out into this huge gorgeous world and essentially create your own mounts, and that includes flying. And the other reason why mounts are such a big deal is because they have full mount combat. So.
Oh, very cool.
Oh wow! Okay.
Including flying mount combat. So you can actually.
So joust.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. You can tame a dragon. That's their big, tame a dragon and go battling in the skies. It's that's sort of a pretty amazing they were able to actually get that to work. So and if the battle gets real intense, you bring it to the ground, you jump off your mount, and then he starts fighting alongside you, and it's pretty intense stuff. So
That sounds great.
So yeah, they're trying to get our attention, and they'd really like us to give the game a try. So what they're going to do for us is allow us to have access to their early access before the game launches. And with that, they wanted to give us a few founders codes. So. Okay. We'll be able to pass those out as we see fit. So we have this little event called the Summer of Love coming up. So So this might be something that we might want to give out there. So yeah, look for that there. Keep an eye out for Summer of Love, and get ready for some cool giveaways, because these Founders Codes are currently running for $250 worth of stuff.
Oh, wow.
Holy crud, wow.
Yeah, and we've got several to give out. So, if you are interested in Riders of Icarus, and I can hear the little one. If you are interested in Riders of Icarus, let us know. I've posted on the forums about Riders of Icarus, looking for people that are interested. So, let me know if you're interested. We're going to be looking for all kinds of participants in this new game.
Did you post that in the community section or the Imperium Ludi?
I think Imperium Ludi, but I can. Okay. But I'm pretty sure it's where we put all the new game stuff. But yeah, just post there. Let me know if you're interested. We've got stuff to share.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for that. Evidently, it pays to be an AIE.
Definitely.
All right, so I think as we hear our adorable Mr. Xander kind of fuss in the background there, that is going to be our show for tonight. While our amazing chat room begins suggesting titles, we want to thank Mew so much for joining us this evening. It has been a blast and good time seeing everything that Final Fantasy XIV has to offer.
Evan, thanks for having me on.
Oh yeah, so if folks want to find you, what's the best way to find you on the web, on the tweeters, on the internets? Where are you at?
I'm pretty much known as MewCow everywhere. On Twitter, in particular, I'm the MewCow. There's some accessible MewCow out there that's not touched the account, but they won't let you have it. But so I'm the MewCow. You'll find me in WoW as MewCow or Mew something or other. That's pretty much my going name.
And that is, by the way, cow with a K and not a C.
Yep, MEWKOW.
Yep, that's from you, cow.
And if you have a question or comment about the show, you can email us at podcast@aie-guild.org. You can also follow us on Twitter. The show is at AIE Podcast. McCullough is at Cyberwave, and Tetsemi is at Ivory Tiger. We normally record live with video every other Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. However, due to scheduling, we are looking to do a show next week. You can join the chat room and play along with us on our website. We're actually going to update that. It is aie-guild.org, and at the top menu there is a drop-down for podcast that shows the live link as well as previous episodes. And I think the chat room worked out really well, so I think we're going to start using Rocket Chat over IRC for future episodes. What do you think, McCullough?
I think it was a great idea, and chat room, thanks so much for playing along and helping us test this out.
Yeah, and again, go ahead, Mew. I'm sorry.
I was just saying it worked out really great.
Yeah, and for those that didn't see the the chat room at the beginning, it is, if you just go to aie.community, it will get you to the Rocket Chat in a web browser. You can also do that on, like I said, the iOS app and other things. Just use your Umami login. And we will be looking at seeing if we can, get guest users in for those people that aren't in Umami yet, and what happens. Our theme was composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul, or visit his website, keyswithsoul.com.
And now it's time to play all the great AIE member segments that we received this week, including... Wait, where are the segments? So guys, if you want to try your hand at creating segments, please send them to the AI... Wow, I posted the wrong notes there. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Podcast at aie-guild.org. We should be back next week talking to someone about something. We're hoping to get Duxa in to talk Lord of the Rings online, maybe. So until then, AIE, this is McCullough.
This is Tetsemi, and MewCow is the new director of Final Fantasy XIV. Please, we forgot to mention that. And this has been the AIE Podcast.
Bye.
Bye. All right, so we have one show title suggestion from the lovely Sybil, and that is Final Fantasy XIV, Frilly Dresses and Endless Dungeons.
I like it.
It'll work, especially since we don't have any competition.
Right. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, chat room. You guys were awesome. Thank you for putting up with us and everything else.
Yeah, that chat room definitely worked a lot better.
Yeah. No, I agree. Better than IRC. It's easier to get into. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am going to cut the broadcast. Thank you, chat room, again. Good seeing you. And thank you for putting up with the late showtime and the new chat room. We really appreciate you guys. You're awesome.